Welcome back to the channel. And on this episode of The Designer and the Writer, we're going to tackle is it the Honda West? Is that what it is? TJ, would you like to, let the people know what corporate sponsorship this conference has?
Corporate sponsorships are trash, Robert.
Well, for TJ's sake, we'll just say this is the West. But yes, welcome back to The Designer and the Writer. I am Creative Bobbie. I'm the designer.
And I'm TJ Tooley, and I'm a writer.
So we're gonna kick it off with one of the most storied franchises in all of the NHL, like such history, tradition, just such a legacy that they have so much to, with their throwback and just so much retro to take advantage of. It's the Vegas Golden Knights. According to this great article on NHL.com, they say rather than draw from the team's short history, yes, NHL, yes, the Golden Knights have decided to pay homage to pro hockey franchises that preceded them and paved the way for their existence. Among their inspirations was Manon Riemann. I know I can't say
Nailed it. Nailed it in one.
that. The first woman to play in the NHL. I did not know that. Who wore similar striping as a member of the Las Vegas Thunder of the International Hockey League. Very interesting. I did not know any of that. But let me tell you what I do know. These uniforms are fire. Like, it's just they've been killing the game since they came into the league. So I think it's kind of embarrassing for some of the other teams that didn't do the reverse retro well. That like this young upstart is killing the game in the reverse retro aspect of things. You got the swords logo, I'm a fan of the big logo in the middle. Like I'm a big fan of it. I really think that red pops. Like I really think with that logo in the center, the red really pops, and you got the logo on the shoulders. So we're using our surface area. I like the collar, the gold collar, and I like the gray and the gold and the black at the bottom. I really like this. TJ, what are your thoughts on Vegas?
Well, we knew when they came into the league that their uniforms were going to do something special. Their homes look great. Their roads look great. Their AHL team might have better uniforms, but we'll talk about them some other time. But I knew when they said that red was going to be like an accent color that they were going to use throughout, occasionally, I was like, we're going to get a gold jersey and we're going to get a red jersey. This year, they gave us both. So they're not wasting time. They're not messing around. And when they had the opportunity to just not participate in the reverse retro. They could have phoned it in and just been like, here's our third, we're going to do that. But they didn't. They chose to participate in the reverse retro. They picked an era of Vegas hockey, and the stripes are the Thunder stripes. They kind of did an inverse of the white jersey, or maybe a little bit from the teal jersey. It's kind of a little bit of both. And they brought into their modern color scheme and gave themselves what really needs to be a permanent third. I know the gold is going to be their thirds, but this needs to stay. They can have 4 jerseys. Mess around with it. Go crazy. Wear those shiny gold chrome helmets you brought out last night as of recording this, and wear them with this. Also, the main knight helmet that they wear on their chest normally looks great as a shoulder patch. I like the swords and the star. It's very Vegas to me. Great looking jersey. I like it a lot.
To the St. Louis Blues. My enjoyment of this reverse retro concept is continuing. The joy train is continuing with this one right here. We're throwing it back to 1995 out here in these streets. The red bottom road jersey from the mid 90s. Turn that thing upside down with a fresh take. Man, like the Blues. That's that's some swag right there. They're wearing some swag right now. Like I like you can also tell like in like the pictures for the reverse retros where they have like the fashion models with the jerseys on, like that St. Louis thing, it just pops like red with
Mm-hmm.
the blue at the bottom with the cuffs. Like I like that there's a lot going on, and a the double the double stroke on on the numbers works for me here because the center logo also is double stroked. Actually, no, that might be triple stroke because it has the gold, it has the red, and it has the white. So it's like there's a consistency there.
So I love the Blues. I think they're a cool team. I've seen them play. Their arena is fun. I'm in the camp of people who's wanted them to bring back the trumpet logo for a while now. It's a great shoulder patch. It doesn't necessarily need to be on the center of a jersey, but it's a great shoulder patch. And the red is such a unique thing. It's a specific era in Blues hockey. And for them to just be like, hey, reverse retro, let's just flip the blue and the red. We're going to do it. And it looks good. It really, it looks clean. They basically just did that. It's red and blue. They reversed their retro jersey. I can't really ask for more, except I will. I kind of maybe wish that the numbers were blue. I think that it may have popped a little bit more on the red jersey. But again, they just reversed the jersey. So I can't be too mad at them. It looks really good. It's a little bit weird to see them in red, but I mean, the reverse retro is apparently the year to bring out the red jerseys. This is like 3 of them now.
Yep.
So 4 of them actually. So yeah, it looks good and it'll look good on the ice and I like it.
Mm-hmm. Now we are moving on to Colorado. Colorado, has had a time with logos in its history and uniform choices. But Colorado here is throwing it back to 1979, a true mashup of old and new. So this design, the Quebec Nordiques igloo logo with the fleur de lis in Avalanche maroon. The white jersey is a nod to the Northern Nordiques. These are some interesting names here. And the snowy Rocky Mountain. I like this. Not as much as the previous two that we've discussed, but I like it's different. It's different, and you're going all white. So when you go with a white jersey, I feel like you have to have a different battle plan. But I like that classic. The old school logo is kind of cool. I kind of have a thing for like the old sports logos. I'm I have a diverse palette when it comes to logos. Like I can appreciate many different shades of the logo. I think the colors work. I like the fleur de lis at the bottom. I really like that. I would have many negative things to say if there was nothing at the bottom and it was just the logo there. Like I like how they're using that. I like the story behind it. They're going with the 70s. That colored collar, which I think a lot of teams that have all white jerseys, if you just put something on that collar, something got to go up there. I'm looking at you, Detroit, which is becoming a theme of this series of episodes here.
um, I love the Nordiques. They're cool. They are one of those franchises that people want back. So Colorado had a similar cheat code to Carolina in that, hey, let's throw it back here after the Nordiques were ripped from the heart of Quebec City and then placed in Colorado, and they were gifted a Stanley Cup winning team. But that's just a little bit of shade on the franchise. It's fine. The jersey is what we're talking about here, and it looks good. I understand the desire to do white. It's a way to try and marry the teams. They could have just done blue, but done more of their Avalanche blue, which is not far off from Nordiques blue. And people would have been like, oh, well, you just kind of copied the Nordiques. But they could have also done maroon and done something weird. I think it could have looked pretty sharp. You'd have had to have played with the colors of the logo a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But they chose to go with white. And it's a sharp looking jersey. I don't have much to complain about here. The numbers being red outlined with blue or blue outlined with red, it's the same thing they did on the white Nordiques jerseys. So, I mean, I guess don't fix what ain't broke, I guess. It's I like that the names on the backs of the jerseys are just maroon. I like that the fleur de lis are just maroon. I like that they didn't add extra outlines where they didn't need it. They could have maybe had less stuff outlined, but it's the old template. So they didn't screw it up. Go Avalanche.
They didn't screw it up. TJ Tooley. That's the quote. So moving on, Colorado, we're going with the Anaheim Ducks. Now, let me just go ahead and just say this flat out about the Anaheim reverse retros. Okay, I for what they're trying to do, I understand it, and I don't really have a big problem with it. But if this was like their regular uniform, I'd probably be like, get this out of here. But like for what it is, like I really dig it. And I respect it. Like they were like, okay, we're going reverse retro, then we're going to reverse this retro out here. Like unofficially dubbed the Wild Wing jerseys, worn in their third season. And it's a fan favorite because it's the only jersey that has the team's mascot on it. So I I like it's very interesting to have like just it's very different than pretty much all the other reverse retros. It's like a full-on cartoon character. It's like coming up and I I like the shoulder. I like the remember you tried to show me that horrible Tampa Bay storm thing and that abomination, but this is
Beautiful.
no, this is the way you can have like it's just little streams at the bottom. You got the teal color there at the bottom and on the sleeves. You also got it at the shoulders. I dig it. My only thing is I feel like if that Captain C wasn't there, it would look very awkward.
um, First of all, it's time to talk about my jersey I'm wearing. So I have a Mighty Ducks jersey, a Charlie Conway from the first Mighty Ducks movie of that epic, perfect trilogy that they're going to have a show for on Disney Plus coming up. Not a sponsor, but should be. Hit us up. But the I've got to see the Ducks play. It's pretty cool. Wild Wing is the name of their mascot, and he's cool. The Ducks have worn retro jerseys. They've thrown back to the colors that they've worn during this era before, and they look good every time they do. It's something that the fans love. The logo's great. Uh, the old school, like the duck goalie mask logo, that looks good in their current color scheme. They've worn orange jerseys of it before. Should probably bring that back full time, but that's neither here nor there. So when you get an opportunity to do something like the reverse retros, it's inherently gimmicky. So go for it. And they did. They brought back the Wild Wing jersey that people really like. They're really hard to get. It's like the Lightning's Storm jerseys, which you don't like. Um, but fans loved it, right? And it's the jersey. They didn't really change anything. They just flipped the colors out. Um, the hard part about this design is the placement. Like you said, if the C wasn't there, it would be really empty. But the other argument is if the C didn't have to be there and the A didn't have to be there, they could move the whole logo up. They could make it a little bit bigger and fill out that really, really white jersey a little bit more. They moved it. It almost looks like they moved the striping on the sleeves down a little bit, which that might just be my eyes. But if they did, that was a horrible mistake because it just made more white on the sleeves. But the logo looks cool. They actually, I like the teal at the bottom more than I liked the white. It looked on the original, it looked like he was breaking through the ice, sure, but this one looks like it looks better to me. It's cool. It's fun. The fans will get a kick out of it. There's no better time to do this jersey than right now in the reverse retros.
Moving on to the Arizona Coyotes. This looks like it's a daggum art piece uh with this logo in the middle. Color swapping with their desert scene alternate jersey, which is their original third jersey, replacing the green with purple. And this jersey also adds a lizard shoulder patch. I First off, I'm here for the lizard shoulder patch. I'm here for it. I'm here for the purple. I'm here for it. They're pushing it with that scene down below. They're pushing it. They're pushing it. They're like in between Anaheim and that Tampa Bay thing that you love so much, where it's like you got the cactus, you got the desert scene here. It comes on, the orange goes up to the sleeves there, and it's and it does have like the black there. Um, I'm not. I love the color of it, and I
Mhm.
love the center logo. I'm a fan of the center logo. I think this is good. I think this is good. I'm not, quite in love with the scene at the bottom. I think maybe if they made like the cacti, the color a little lighter or something, made it a little bit more distinct, like make each element a little bit more distinct, I probably like it a little better. But I think this is cool. TJ, what do you think of the Coyotes of Arizona?
Um, I like it. The original green version of the jersey, the desert scape at the bottom gets kind of dark and a little bit muddied, but um, the lizard logo is great. That purple is gorgeous. I
Mhm.
love this color. This needs to be like permanent color for them. Like all of your home jerseys, all of your thirds, like do this forever, please. Like this is great. I mean, if you want to ditch the desert at the bottom sometime, you can, but this is throwing it back to a time with those green jerseys were worn. You put the purple on it. This is the exact kind of jersey that will sell right now. And for a franchise that really doesn't have an identity, this could be it. You're already incorporating your old third jersey as your now home jerseys, and you don't have fans. So go crazy. And maybe this will score you some. You know, I really like it. I think it's a great looking design. I think it's going to look amazing on the ice. And I think that color purple needs to stay full
I
time.
I agree. I agree. So next up, ladies and gentlemen, uh,
Yeah.
the Minnesota Wild. I am a Wild fan. The only hockey jersey that I have, the only hockey paraphernalia that I own is Minnesota Wild things. For those who don't know, I had a passing interest in hockey. I was around people that are watching hockey. I was like, yeah, let me give this a shot. You know, one of my best friends, TJ, same TJ, uh,
Not the
was
other TJ.
not the other TJ, but this, but, but yeah, like, learned me up about some hockey. Good friend Kelly Nellis got me some gear when I said I wanted to be a fan of theirs, which I became a fan of theirs because of this logo right here, because this logo is choice. I love this logo so much. So when I saw the reverse retro of my team, the Minnesota Wild, I like how TJ always says like for the good ones this should be a permanent third, permanent stuff like this. Minnesota Wild's reverse retros are so good that I just want to take this whole color scheme and just throw it away, just get it out of here. We don't These aren't our colors anymore. This reverse retro, goodness gracious. I mean, they're throwing it back to the Minnesota North Stars, so it's Minnesota North Stars, green and gold, and I want this jersey in my house immediately. It's so good. The colors pop so well with their current branding. Like that logo in the middle that tells us tale so well, but it really pops with the gold. And not only is the middle logo I'm a big fan of, they do the colors. It's like a white jersey, but they use their colors well throughout, and the numbers just magnificent use of like the it's like a drop shadow, kind of like an off shadow there, where you got the
Mhm.
gold numbers with the green around it, so it's not just a lazy stroke around the numbers. It's dynamic. It gives it some depth. Like, I could gush about this jersey. Clearly, this is absolutely my favorite of the bunch. TJ, you have the floor for the Minnesota Wild.
Awesome. State of hockey represent. This jersey is awesome. The color scheme is perfect. The team down in Dallas that we don't need to talk about here isn't using the color scheme. So just do it. It's right there for the taking. Dallas, we talked about you already. This jersey is great. And I love the Wild. I think that they are like their branding is awesome. I have some Wild merchandise from when I went up there, and I like it. I do like their current color scheme for what it is. The dark green does look nice. The red, I've never been a fan of their red jerseys, but they did a dark green and cream that I think would make a really good third, an alternate look for them if they want to ever bring the red back in for just occasionally, but not all the time. This jersey, they another cheat code. They did the North Stars white jersey, but the extra points come in when they did the North Star color version of their logo. And that Wild logo is just awesome. In all of sports, that logo is awesome. And like you said, the numbers is all it all works so well. Again, don't break what isn't, or don't fix what isn't broken, because it looks so good. This needs I want to see the green version of this. I want to see them in them full time. Yeah, go for it. It's a great looking jersey.
Moving on to the San Jose Sharks. Their initial third jersey's getting a Ricky remix with the gray taking center stage with the teal and the black and the white accents. You know what I'm saying? Got that shark chomping at the bit there. The the center logo, it's almost like it's embossed. Just the way they
Mm.
stroked around, they did a double stroke around it. Almost, it kind of gives a little bit more weight there. Great logo, classic logo. Um, you got I like the sleeves a lot, where you got that arrow pointing up with the teal going
Mhm.
down and the black on the side. You got the teal at the collar. I like this. It's a good use of colors. I definitely like gray in uniforms more. I like how it gives people an opportunity to kind of do some different things. But I think this is cool. I think this is cool. TJ, what are your thoughts on San Jose?
Um, so in general, I think the Sharks should use their teal more. But as for this jersey, this is one of the few teams that actually took some time to improve upon a design that they're reversing back to. I think the stripes on the sleeves look significantly better than they did on the original, but you can still tell what they're throwing back to. The old shark head looks great. I love their current shark head. I like the alternate shark head they do. It's just cool. It's a shark. Who doesn't like that? Um, it's a good looking jersey. I like what they did um, at Nashville. This is what I was talking about. You could have done a gray version of the jersey you're wearing now, emphasis on the navy, and then keep yellow more or less out of it, because your whole scheme is that now. This is what you could have done. But we're talking about San Jose, and it looks good. Almost I think for me, I would have liked it if the numbers on the back were black. I know I
Mm,
just said that I wish they wore their teal more and used more teal, but it's just I think it's not as readable as the black would have been. And also on the sleeves, I know that you're trying to do some sort of throwbacky thing, but you don't need that outline on those white numbers on the sleeves. You don't. Like there's enough teal in this uniform to satisfy me with the sleeves and the bottom. Um, I would have liked black numbers on the back and no outline on the numbers on the sleeves. But otherwise, I mean, I really like this. It's going to look really cool on the ice, and it opens the door to have a throwback alternate third that is gray moving forward, because it looks pretty good. I like it a lot.
and finally, in the West, we are talking
Yeah.
about the Los Angeles Kings.
Woo.
LA Kings over here. I'm just gonna say it. I love this. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Like, powerful logo in the center with the classic Los Angeles Kings there. But what did it for me is the purple and gold. Like the
Mhm.
purple and gold, and having the the courage to be like, we're gonna go full on. Like, the teams that decide they're gonna go full on, let's take some great color combinations and then just apply our branding to them. They win more than they lose here. You know. Now, the Kings here, the LA Kings. This inspiration was for the jersey, the season Gretzky became the NHL all-time leading scorer, the 1990s era logo, and with the founding Kings and the Forum, colors, and they're using the original team's uniforms from the 60s and the 70s. Like they're taking in a lot of different inspirations, and also like how some teams are taking the multiple inspirations and bringing them together. Like the ones that they aren't being lazy with this opportunity, they're like, let's really come up with something new and creative. I this is inspired in my humble opinion. Like this is pimp right here. Like, and like I to the point where I forgive the strokes on the numbers and the C. Um, Although I would love to see on the center of the arm, if it was just purple, it was just
Mhm.
purple numbers, and if on the back it was just gold, like the name is, that would have been just perfect. But I forgive it because they double stroked the center logo, so it's like I think that's the thing with strokes too. Is like I'm not the biggest fan of them, but if it's consistent with everything else that's going on in the uniform, I think that's part of our frustration too. Is when we see strokes on numbers, it's not consistent with other elements on there. But overall, I dig this LA Kings. TJ, what are your thoughts?
So I've been a fan of the Kings for a really long time. About the time I got into hockey, I wanted to, I lived with some guys who were Penguins fans. That's how I was introduced to hockey. That's why I have so much Penn stuff. So many Penguins played at UNO. It was bound to happen. But when I was learning the sport, I wanted, I'm from North Dakota. I used to play, but I didn't watch the NFL or NHL, and so I wanted to pick a team for myself. And so I started watching like tons of games, and I started keeping track of the leagues. I started doing all of the hyper follow the NHL stuff that I tend to do now. And at the time, the team that was heating up and playing really good was the LA Kings en route to their first championship in my lifetime back in 2012. And so like yeah, they were fun to watch. And then icing on the cake, my old roommate Dave, I went out to LA where he's from, and I got to see the Kings play. That's also when I got to see the Ducks play. And it's been something where I will always remember when that was, because I was literally at the last season, the last one of the last home games that they ever had the color purple in their color scheme, because they dropped it. They dropped the purple crown logo. They didn't do it as alternates, and I was sad, but I was less sad when I got to buy some really cool Kings merchandise because the purple was going away. Um, if you and they've brought it back a few times as heritage jerseys, as throwbacks, but it's not been in their system full time. So when you get a chance to do a reverse retro, it's got to have been really tempting to do the purple and gold. But they also wanted to throw back to the Gretzky era, something you've seen throughout this series, because why wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
And the to come up with the idea of doing the purple and gold version of the black and white Gretzky jersey, and to include the right crown on the logo, it's great. It looks so good. I will disagree with you a little bit on. I think the sleeves numbers should be just white with no outline instead of purple. I think it pops a lot more in white. Personally, I'm not a designer, but it's such a good looking jersey. And you were talking about with the Blues and some of the other teams, you see even the models are feeling it as they're walking out there in it. This is a good looking jersey. LA is, it's here. This looks really really cool, and I think for my money, permanent third. This should be there forever. This is a marriage of two different eras of Kings hockey where they did really cool things, and it's not your current color scheme. I think it's perfect for what you're trying to do. Permanent third. This.
Oh, book it. Permanent third,
Yeah.
TJ Tooley. But yeah, man, that is gonna do it for the Honda West. Had to make sure I
Hmm.
got the sponsorship right.
Yeah.
Uh, Last but certainly not least in our episodes will be the Scotia North Division. The Scotia North Division will be next.
Mhm.
Yeah, as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. As always, thank you for TJ bringing his expertise to the plate here. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Make sure as you go along in life, teach as you learn and inspire as you do. And hold up, let us know in the comment section down below which is your favorite jersey. All right. All right. Now back to teach as you learn and inspire as you do. See you next time.